Hello and welcome to a video covering today's game update, including the brand new dev core system, grand exchange tax, and more. So whenever you're ready, grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and enjoy. For more RuneScape guides, content, and news, be sure to subscribe. As of today's update, devs will now cost you a flat 0.1% fee of the item's value with a minimum reclaim cost of 100 coins. To put that into numbers, the cost of dying is now reduced by 80% or more depending on the value of your items before. For example, my 30.5 million dev of me just grabbing a bunch of items from my bank before the update is now only 5.8 million GP. A huge decrease. There's also something new known as the overflow inventory, which is basically a second storage bin if you end up dying twice due to a server issue or you just forgot to reclaim your items somehow, you didn't have enough money. Well, this is that storage for up to 50 different item slots, including stacks of food, divine charges, archaeology materials, and more. Now, it will take a considerable amount of consecutive deaths using different items to fill up that overflow storage to the point where you can actually start to lose items. At that point, you'll get a warning to start reclaiming your items because otherwise there's a chance of you losing them. Also, claiming items from the overflow storage is 10 times as expensive as you'll be paying 1% of the cost instead of 0.1% from regular deaths. Now, Jagex shared how much gold is being added to the game every single day, being around 201 billion GP, with around 113 billion being removed every single day through a variety of gold sinks. The most prominent one, of course, being dev costs, with a 62% share. Because of this major increase in inflation, which already seemed quite steep, Jagex needed to find a solution to reduce the amount of gold coming into the game after reducing dev costs by up to 80% or more. Considerations to fill up this gap included nerfing some of the biggest gold sources like alchemy, invention machines, and increasing the amount of capital you're able to spend in shops such as meat, rune, and feather shops. And the only viable solution listed in this post according to Jagex was to create a grand exchange tax, which is now in the live game. According to the post, a 1.5% tax would have been enough to cover the amount of gold previously going out of the game through dev costs. But to have a sort of buffer as to future-proof the game, if you will, they went with a 2% tax. The G tax only applies to items worth more than 50 GP each, so you can still sell cheap runes or cheap items below 50 GP, for example spirit shards, for 25 GP each without being taxed. With items that are taxable, you can see the amount of money you will gain in the bottom part of the grand exchange, with your price per item being the amount of money or GP the buyer pays for the item. If your item sells for more than your set price, you will simply be taxed for that amount of money the buyer paid over your price instead. For example, this Dragon Halberd sold for 310k GP, so instead of getting 276k, I got 304k. While the grand exchange tax is in the live game, the max cash limit increase is not. Yet. It should be arriving within 5 to 6 months from now according to the latest news. The Ring of Death effect has also been updated with this update to where instead of you dying and being revived at the cost of Onyx Charge, it now keeps you alive before your Sign of Life procs and places a blade that deals 200 damage per tick up to 750-ish damage per tick after 3 minutes and then ends. It does this without using the Ring's charge like it normally would and instead now degrades like regular items. It is still, however, repaired using a cut onyx. When you die with the Ring of Death, you can move around, your familiar doesn't die, and you don't have your adrenaline drain like with a Sign of Life. Interestingly, this blade's effect can be reduced by using the Animate Dead spell. As you can see, when I put on my Crippling armor and turn on Animate Dead, the amount of damage per tick goes down significantly. What's also interesting is that the Crippling armor effect will proc before the Ring of Death actually procs, meaning you can die essentially multiple times. First, your Crippling procs, then your Ring of Death procs, then your Sign of Life procs, and then finally you will actually die and get sent to Death's office. This ring will also allow you to literally cheat death at bosses with soft instant kill mechanics, like the Calphite King. Yes, I just survived a green without doing anything other than wearing a Ring of Death. Want to see that again? Well, here's me doing it again. Voila. It even works at Telos. Just have a look at me just sitting here like an absolute donkey and waiting for the instant kill. Do we die? Well, we in fact do not. I would not be surprised if this works at the Zuck Pizza phase, as I think that's a soft instant kill as well. I also tried to purposely die at phase 7 Zamrak, as I didn't use a Power Burst of Vitality, I just kept on soul splitting, and I got executed, and the Ring of Death procced, and we were trying to 2-cycle on purpose here, me and Loot Shark, and we just cheesed phase 7 100% in rage like it was nothing. Like, it's good. The Ring of Death is very effective if you want to use it to finish off your boss kills. It will allow you to make that extra mistake. Also, yes, I just managed to spoon a drop thanks to the Raptors event, which is going on now, where you're able to claim a buff every single day and essentially get 3 rolls at the rare drop tables from a single boss once per day. And if you want some suggestions, go ahead and try out Zuck or Elite Dungeons and activate it just before the Ambassador to make the most out of this event, lasting until January the 22nd. This daily buff does not work on Telos, the Argalacer, and on raids, but raids has received a permanent increase to rare drops, confirmed by Modazana today. One more thing I'd like to mention before ending off the video is that the Ring of Death cooldown seems to reset during phasing at certain bosses while not resetting at others. For example, it seems to reset at every single phase of Arago and when going into phase 4 at Araxor, confirmed by 2 clannies of mine, being Yagami Ko and Oh Man It's Mike. The latter being the person who provided me with the footage of them purposely proccing the Ring of Death every single phase. I'm just going to assume that this is a bug and might be fixed, but who knows. With that being said though, we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below and maybe even consider subscribing, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.